Harlan Boll. I say that name and I think PR. I think of the word publicist, producer, performer. He's an amazing man who graciously took out some time to come and visit us and meet the biz at Performing Arts Studio West in August 2016, August 25th, to come and share his adventures, his exciting life as a publicist, as an assistant, as a producer, with many legends that he has worked with, become friends with, family with. Well, today we have that interview for you to enjoy. We were all together then, and we will be all together again very soon. But for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy this wonderful visit with Harlan Boll.
Welcome everybody to Meet the Biz at the Performing Arts Studio West. Yes, today we have a very special person who is just a sweetheart. Harlan Boll is with us today. Whenever I see you, you're always running, you're always doing everything. Yeah. You are one of the busiest people I know in this industry. When do you have time to breathe?
I don't. I plan on starting very soon.
Okay, that's always good.
Yeah.
That's always good. So, where were you born?
I was born in Denver, Colorado. Thank you.
And when did you move to Hollywood?
When I was 18.
Okay.
I actually went to the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. I'm sorry, to the Academy of Dramatic Arts. Mm-hmm. I eventually worked for the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. But I was an usher in a theater, summer stock theater called Elitch Gardens, the oldest summer stock theater in the country. And before my very first day of work, Chris Kirkland, the producer, called me and said, we lost our driver for the star of the show. My name was Boll, last name, first one on the list. I had a car, it was better hours, better pay, so I took the gig, and I became Shelley Winter's driver.
Oh.
And Shelley's assistant left, and I knew the routines, so I took over. Mm-hmm. And then she gave me to Tammy Grimes, who gave me to Maureen O'Sullivan, who gave me to Gabe Kaplan, to Richard Kiley, to Rex Harrison, and a number of others. Wound up with Cloris Leachman, who decided I should work in Hollywood.
Wow.
So, yeah. And Cloris has Oscar and the largest amount of Emmy wins in history right now.
Well, she's amazing.
Oh, yeah. No, very, very, very talented. Insane, but talented.
Do you, and of course, I love her in Young Frankenstein.
Oh, God, yes. She took me to, we were driving after we closed a show one night. She took me to a midnight showing. We were driving down the street and saw a midnight showing of Young Frankenstein. And we snuck into the back and watched it from there. And she was telling me, okay, listen for this, you'll hear me in the background. Or listen to this is what's happening. And the people in front of us were not too thrilled that someone was talking behind them. And when they turned around and asked us to be quiet, they were in shock to see Frau Brocha behind them.
Who left my grandfather's book out for me to find? Yes! So that I would? Yes! Then you and Victor were...
Say it. He was my boyfriend!
I bet she gave a look too.
Yeah, it was very funny. It was just, he just was stunned, frozen. For those of you who haven't seen the movie, that's her character in Young Frankenstein.
Oh my God! If you haven't seen Young Frankenstein, see Young Frankenstein. Oh my God! So you came to Hollywood to do what?
Well, I came as everyone else. Cloris thought I should be an actor. I I worked a lot, theater. I only once didn't book a theater gig. My agent loved me, I told you that. TV and film kind of eluded me. I did one film and did not like the way I appeared on camera and shifted gears. I became the last of the contract assistants at Paramount Studios. They assigned me to Tom Cruise for Top Gun and a few other projects, and and I learned a lot, and I became an assistant to different artists, Valerie Harper, Lindsay Wagner, wound up with Bob and Dolores Hope, the Carsons, and then the world opened up. You can't work for Bob and Dolores Hope and the Carsons and not meet everybody.
Of course.
Yes.
Oh my God. I mean, the legends you have worked
Oh
with.
yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, people think I'm much older. I've worked with to George Burns on down. Yeah.
You started when you were a fetus.
Yes, I was a fetus at the time. Thank you very much.
So what is, I see B. Harlan Boll. What is B?
My first name.
Okay. Very nice.
I keep that for my mother. I don't care for the name, but I keep the B for my mother. Harlan's my middle name.
Okay.
And it's my father's name, my grandfather's name, my great-grandfather's name. It goes back, so.
I love that. I love that. And Harlan is so special. I mean, the name.
I think so.
And the person.
Thank you.
Your biggest joy?
Oh. Ooh, I should have asked for these in advance.
No, that's okay. That's what makes it.
My biggest joy. There's too many. Probably my nieces and nephews. My brother says that I buy them for Christmas. I would buy them something they need, something they wanted, and then I would go to the toy store owner and say, I want the loudest, most obnoxious toy you've got. Just to drive my brother and his wife crazy. Of
course.
So yeah.
Of course. I have something that I was going through. I moved out of storage. I was paying $250 a month, and I said no more. So I got everything out of storage, and now I'm living in my storage unit. I'm living in my storage unit, and I found this.
I've never seen this.
You haven't?
I'm kidding.
Oh my God! I was thinking you've seen
Every
everything.
day of my life, I hear this. There's not a day that doesn't pass by that someone doesn't call me and do their Carol Channing impersonation.
Really?
Yes. And, I've been with Carol for 19 years.
Wow.
And she's not my longest client either. She's family now. She's more than just...
Right.
So, yeah, she's... So many stories I couldn't possibly get into. She's still working.
Right.
She's 95.
Yes.
About a year ago, she did a show with Tommy Tune. I don't know if you know Tommy Tune. He's won 10 Tony Awards. And we did it up at the Curran Theater. I say we, like I was on stage. They were at the Curran Theater up in San Francisco, and she was brilliant.
Oh.
Brilliant. So there's no age has nothing to do with one's ability, and she's got issues of her own. She's had to work past. She's walked off the stage more times than I can mention.
How many times how many performances did she do, or how many?
She did way over 5,000
of Hello Dolly.
Of Hello Dolly. She promised Yul Brynner that she would stop counting at 5,000 because he did 5,000 of The King and I, and so she promised him she would not promote after 5,000. Because they were friends, but she went way over 5,000.
Right.
And the rumors were always that she never missed a performance, and technically she missed a half a performance.
Really?
In Kalamazoo. She was so sick, she was throwing up on stage, and she missed the second half. And David Merrick, the very famous producer, said, well, if you're going to miss a show, Kalamazoo's the place to do it.
Oh my God. Did somebody go on the second act, or did they just...
I've always wanted to know who stepped in, but they never told me.
Oh, how fun that would
It'd be fun to find out who the only person to ever replace Carol Channing was.
Well, I mean, of course, I grew up loving this woman.
Oh, yeah.
And one time, I've only met her once. I was at 24 Hour Fitness. and I was leaving. I had just got my pureed protein shake, and I was walking out the door, and I heard this voice, and I went, and I turned around, and there was Carol in a one-piece purple suit, and she was talking to somebody, and I just tapped her on the shoulder. I said, "Thank you for all the joy you have given me." And she said, well, thank you. But it was...
Yeah, that voice is undescribable. She will call the office, and my associate will answer the phone, and she'll go, just a minute, Carol, and I'll pick up the phone. She'll go, oh, now how'd she know? I'll go, really, Carol, it's not hard.
Oh, my God.
She fell into my life.
Yeah.
Literally fell down a flight of stairs.
Oh, no.
Yep. She was on stage. During rehearsal, they only had that one light on the stage, and they had not marked the stairs yet, and she was making a grand entrance. And she was on stage with Angela Lansbury, and they had switched roles. Angela was coming in as Dolly, and Carol was coming in as Mame, which was Angela's famous character. And on the stairs, she missed and fell down the flight.
Oh, my God.
Now, I'd known her and worked with her before, but this was really the beginning of our long-term relationship. And I had to rush her to the hospital and signed her in, and they wouldn't take her. She literally fractured her thumb, broke her arm, broke 2 ribs, stitches to the temple, and she still went on. When the producers called me at the hospital and said, well, we'll make an announcement that Carol will not be appearing, she overheard it on the phone. And she said, well, why on earth wouldn't I be there?
No, when was the performance?
No, the next night.
The next night.
But still, a
Yeah.
broken arm, broken ribs, fractured, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and what I did was I called Harry Winston, which is a famous diamond company, and I had them cover her cast in diamonds. And
That's amazing.
we had a ton of security around her, but yeah.
Do you have a picture of that?
Yeah, we do have a picture
Oh,
of
my
that.
God.
So it's and it turned out really well. And while we were there, she came in, and you have to be related for them to let you in past a certain point. And they knew I wasn't, but they just wanted me to say I was. And the doctor went, well, are you related? And I'm looking at Carol's nodding, like, say yes. And the doctor like saying, just say yes. And I went, yes, I'm her father.
Oh.
Carol didn't miss a beat. She went, oh, yes, can't you see the resemblance?
Oh, my God.
And the doctor literally just said, just go, just go. And as we got to the private room, the nurse shut the door and she went, Father! It was all that I could think of at the moment, so.
Oh, my God.
But we have been laughing since, and it's been nonstop laughter with her.
That must be amazing to be around her.
Oh, yeah. She wakes up at 5:30 and calls me and says, oh, Harlan, is it too early? I go, yes.
She said, okay, I'll come back 10 minutes
Yeah,
later.
exactly. She said, she'll do 30 minutes later. Are you up yet? So anyway, yes.
Oh, I mentioned, you have 2 pins there.
Yes.
What are they?
One is an Emmy. I'm the publicist for the Television Academy, NATIS, daytime. And the other one's an Academy Award. I've worked on several Academy Award projects, so I was given a Academy Award and an Emmy lapel pin, so I wear them.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Thank you.
And your famous hat.
And my famous hat, I don't know how that became famous, but it did. I've had it for as long as I can remember. To me, they said it was, I shouldn't wear it when I first started. I don't know why. They told me it was...
it's always they.
Yeah, it's always they. They said, oh no, you'll never fit in. You'll never fit in if you wear a cowboy boots and Stetson. And so I quit for a while, but then I brought it back and discovered it was a great signature for me. I wear it. You can look, hey. You can look at the Emmy Awards. You can see me walking through the crowd because I have my Stetson on. Or at the Oscars or wherever. You see me at whatever event I'm at. I'm easy to find. And I have some actresses like Florence Henderson and others will see me and say, oh, don't bother him, his hat's on. It means I'm working, apparently.
Right. We have another one of your clients here.
Another thing I've never seen.
You've never seen
No, many times. That joke isn't going over well. This is Tippi Hedren from The Birds. Have any of you seen The Birds?
Oh my God.
She tells me we're BFFs. Yeah, she is. I've been with her now for 21 years.
Wow.
Tippi and I travel the world together, Vienna, Paris, all over. And she is a joy. Thank you so much. This is so cool. I don't think it's mine. But, yeah.
It's up on a corner shelf in my office.
That's right. He got it.
Well, I can have her sign it. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Wait a minute.
And I said that on camera, so I can do it.
There you go. I have one too.
Okay, all right. Yeah, Tippy works with, currently she has 57 lions, tigers, leopards, cougars, animals out at a preserve. For 40 years, she's been protecting these animals. She's had over 250.
Wow.
Thank you, yeah. She's an amazing woman. Not to mention, she's the matriarch of an entertainment dynasty.
Yeah.
Her daughter is Melanie Griffith, and her granddaughter is Dakota Johnson.
Wow. What a family.
Yeah.
What a history.
Very, very strong history. So she's a huge humanitarian, and she's done so much. She's had bills passed to protect the animals. Right now, we're fighting very hard to get a bill passed that will stop breeding of exotic felines domestically, because people sell them as pets, but they never work out as pets, so they wind up selling them to preserves or worse, canned hunts. And yeah, so they wind up drugged or tied to a tree and shot by a hunter for $30,000. It's a huge industry. It's larger. It follows gun sales and drug running.
Wow.
So we're trying to stop that right now.
I just, all that doesn't make sense to me.
No, it makes no sense at all. None at all. For a guaranteed trophy, for a carpet on your floor or a head on your wall. It makes no sense at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell some friends, sometimes I don't feel like I'm from this planet. I feel like it's weird. But I went to Shambhala, which if you've never been to Shambhala, it's a place you must visit. It's amazing. I mean, they have day trips. So they have
once a month. They have safaris during the day. You can go out, bring the sack lunch, and then they have sunset safaris, which I just posted on my Facebook. I went with Barbara Eden, and we had an evening safari. That's when the animals are nocturnal. They come out and start roaring. And you have dinner and not much to drink. They don't let people drink much when you're around exotic animals.
Oh, right.
Here,
So
kitty. No. No.
Yeah. Well, I went there with another one of your clients, who was the guest that night, Jerry Jewell.
Jerry Jewell, yes.
Yeah.
I love Jerry.
She's
With
amazing.
all my heart.
She keeps me breathing.
She keeps me on my toes too.
Yes.
Yeah, I've had a lot of clients go out there and do Q&As and try and raise awareness and funding out there.
Yeah.
And she's one of the favorites because she's the only one I think they've asked back twice.
Really?
Yeah, because the audience really, really love. Well, she's funny and she's energetic, and it makes for a very good evening. Not that the others weren't. The others were all wonderful too, but.
Well, she has this.
Yeah.
I mean, she is a comedian. She's an actress, and I remember that night. I think it was the first time that she really connected with Tippy, and all of a sudden it was like they were just like fast friends.
Well, they both also have cages in their neck.
Right.
Yeah. Tippy and Jerry both have had surgery. I'm not saying anything that they haven't told everybody a million times, so
Right.
I'm not spelling any myths but they have cages in their neck to keep their heads. In Jerry's case, she needs it. She's had so involuntary actions so often that it's worn things down. And Tippy was on a set where the set collapsed. Over a ton of water fell on the set.
Oh.
So yeah, and the doctor said, I have no idea how you're keeping your head up. So she now has a cage in her neck. So they had something in common.
Wow.
Yeah.
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 That Jerry, and I think Jerry fell too. Which was
She fell as well, which didn't help at all.
No. You specialize. I'm trying to read this under Tippy. You specialize in I can't say that. How do you say
Literary.
that? Thank you. That's one of the words. You always have one of those words that just don't come out. Personality, theatrical, nonprofit. So you do it all.
I do pretty much it all, yeah. There's been very little I haven't done. Films and TV shows and mostly books. I love the written word. I really do. I tend to give away the farm when I'm helping an author get the book out there because I think everyone's got a book in them. I really do. I love memoirs myself. I have 2 libraries at my house, and they're all full with books that have all been read. In one, they're all signed, and one, they're not signed. But I love working with authors. I'm an author myself.
How many books have you?
I've worked with 3. The first one was a complete flop. The second one was a bestseller, and the third one was a bestseller. Though technically, I was the producer of the second one. It was a series of interviews for a book called Portraits with 142 celebrities, from Jacques Cousteau to Elizabeth Taylor to Mother Teresa. I got to meet the most amazing human beings with wonderful stories to share. And then the TV, Best in Television, 50 Years of Emmys.
Right.
I'm technically not the writer. I am the ghost-ish writer. It was my idea for the book, but they gave it to Maury Gelman and Gene Ackes, who had been with the Academy for many, many years. And then Merrill Marshall, the then president of the Academy, came to me about 19 weeks out and said, "We're short. We don't have any interviews. We have all the facts are all there,
Right.
and the history is all there and great photos, but we don't have any interviews." So they asked me to get 50 Emmy winners to do interviews in 19 weeks. I wound up with 65. And I told them they couldn't cut anybody. Anyone I asked was in if they did it. And they did it. So on page 6, I'm credited with the 65 interviews, with the securing the 65 interviews. And I got Betty White to write the intro and Bob Newhart to write the foreword.
Oh, wow.
So I consider it my book.
What a life you have. This is so...
I've been very lucky. There's this video that I just love that's running everywhere. It has been picked up. Betty White got the Lifetime Achievement Award last year at the Daytime Emmys. And yeah, when you come off stage, you're presented with something on stage that's actually for television viewing. You know, it's the presenter's Emmy, because as you walk off, they take it from you. And then you walk backstage and you get the one with the number on the bottom that's credit that is assigned to you. So if it's ever gone, stolen, whatever reason, they can identify it. This number belongs to. And then, so there's this wonderful video running of me handing that one to Betty White. So yeah, a little piece of entertainment history.
You know, and I let me put this here. I think I left it at home, but one of your other clients is I grew up watching every week.
That could be a number.
I know. Well, I mean, you have so many. I mean, and the people you have are the people that I grew up with and are still adore and love, and they're amazing, is Julie Newmar.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Catwoman in Batman.
I was talking to her as I walked in the door, yeah.
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 She's, I hope she could come someday. Yeah, I love her.
Have you asked her? I imagine she would. I imagine
would.
she would do this.
Oh, she's so amazing. I mean, I had a crush on her.
Who didn't?
I know.
Hell,
In that pussycat outfit.
gay men had crushes on her.
Oh my God. Gay men, straight men.
Yeah, everyone wanted to be that statuesque, perfect-looking woman. She was with a heart of gold. She's very smart.
Yeah.
Brilliant woman. She and her brother are just 2 of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my entire life, and her son as well.
Wow.
So it's amazing, and she has gardens. She has a rose and a lily named after her. It's rare to have a rose named after you, and even rarer to have a lily, and she's got both.
Who named it?
It's always done through a certain kind of corporate. I don't want to call them breeders. What do you call them when they develop a rose or develop a? It's not a breeder. It's a horticultural, whatever it is. But
Right.
yeah, they can submit a name, and she's had one each named after her. So and they're
I
beautiful.
love that.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna have to.
I have other clients with roses too, like
Right.
Phyllis Diller had a rose, and Barbara Streisand has a rose, and although Barbara's not a client, there are a number of others that have roses named after them, but she's the only one with both a lily and a rose.
It makes me want to go. I think I'm gonna go on the internet and look up her lily and rose.
Do. They're very expensive, but yeah, do.
I think so, because my mom loves roses. Whenever I go past a rose garden, I all of a sudden think of my mom. So I think I might have to splurge and get her that rose. Oh gosh. Oh, who needs a publicist? I mean, for the actors and the performers out there. Why do you need a publicist?
Well, assuming you've reached a point where you've luckily got a job, you've luckily put out a book, a CD, or something, then you need to make the public aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people who come to me, and there are publicists who will take anyone just to take the money. Sorry. I won't. If someone comes to me and they're not ready for a publicist yet, their ducks aren't in a row, or they don't have their materials, ready to go yet, or the contract isn't signed, I don't take them on until I've got something to pitch. I've got something. Your entertainment trays won't even pick up someone in a film until the film has distribution, because they won't run stories till they know their public's going to be able to see it. So there's no point in hiring a publicist until that point. Now, there is the companies will hire a publicist, like I'm working on Valerie Harper's new film, which is wonderful if you get a chance to see it. It's called...
Is it out now?
It's hitting festivals now.
Oh, great.
It's called My Mom and the Girl. It'll be at the LA Festival here. Yes. But in that case, we do start a little early because we want the festivals to pick up on it, and we want the entertainment industry. The focus is strictly on entertainment press. Yeah. We don't do consumer yet. It's too early. But for entertainment press to make sure that Hollywood Reporter, Variety, all of those are mentioning the film and that it's coming up. And mostly for voting purposes, we do want this to receive an Academy nomination for short.
Right.
So, you have to start that ball rolling early. With books, you have to start, technically your publisher should start 6 months earlier. I always come on around 4 or 3 months, so that the long lead magazines, some magazines can't, they pre-write their magazines, so they're 4 months ahead. They will work backwards. They'll start with the advertising and move themselves up through the stories, and one of the last things done is the cover, because the cover has to be the most breaking news. So they will literally work their way from the back of the magazine forward, but they have to have it done 4 months out. I used to work for Playboy.
Wow.
So
how long did you work for Playboy?
I worked for Hef and Playboy for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was, I remember my first Playboy, I asked my mom, can you buy me that Playboy? And the reason was Barbra Streisand was on the cover.
Oh, okay.
Okay. and then she got me a subscription to it, which was
a waste.
But hey.
No, for the good Quaker boy who was working with Hefner. It was very funny. I was working with a man named Dick Clark at the time.
Oh, Dick, yeah.
Yeah. Do you all know who Dick Clark is?
Wow, of course.
One of the really, truly greats. And he and I were going to do KTLA morning news for whatever reason, and the car pulled up at a light, and he was closest to the mailbox, and I asked him to mail a letter for me.
Right.
And he got out of the car, he went over, and I saw him reach the mailbox and go, and looked over the car and looked back at the letter, stuck it in the box, got in the car, and went, "Was that to the Mother Teresa?" And I went, "Yeah, we'd become pen pals. She wrote the intro for one of my books." Oh. And we got, that night there was a party at Playboy, at the mansion. Right. And Dick and his wife Carrie walked in, and Carrie later told me he walked in and saw me with all the playmates, and he went, he parties with Hef and he parties with Hef and pen pals with Mother Teresa. And he's Quaker.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I've had a blessed life. I know I've had a blessed life.
I'm like hearing all these people, and you've known everybody, it seems like.
That's a rumor, but I've known a lot. I see several of my friends on your walls here, Alan Cumming. And,
right.
Yeah.
By the way, we have one of the co-stars of that movie here, don't we? Isaac.
Hey.
There's Isaac.
And what a brilliant movie. See, I can't go anywhere. There's always got to be some star in the audience.
Yeah, I love that film.
I don't travel without a star. You're it today.
There you go. Oh my gosh. When I say Emmys, what first comes to mind?
A lot of work. A lot of work. It starts, I just did my walkthrough for the daytime Emmys yesterday, and that's not till April. It'll be at the Pasadena Civic. I don't think I'm giving anything away, but this next year. But yeah, we start way in advance. We're already doing the mapping out the structure and the show, and the director and producer are already working on the layout. And before long, David Michaels will be looking for the presenters and talent, and we have to start way in advance. And It's a lot of work.
And this is the daytime Emmys?
These are for the daytime Emmys.
Okay.
Prime times are just around the corner.
Right.
Everything's done for that.
Right.
They were having all their parties this week, their nominee parties and everything else. In fact, last night was the party for the daytime people for hosted by Prime Time. So.
Right.
Yeah. So it's an ongoing, constant source of work. A lot of Emmys are given out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have, we figured over, with my clients, there are over 36 Academy Awards between them, 150 Emmys between them, 24 Tonys, and about 30 Golden Globes.
Oh my gosh.
So.
Oh my gosh. That's.
You do get jaded.
That would be interesting to put all of them in one room. Just
Have you seen my photo on my Facebook?
that you have.
Yeah, they're all in a row on my desktop.
Oh.
The only thing that's not in the photograph is a Grammy.
Right.
I don't know why I didn't put a Grammy in there.
Right.
And because I have several clients who have won Grammy Awards.
Yeah.
And I didn't put in a Gong Show Award. Are you familiar with the Gong Show?
Of course. The Gong.
I have a Gong Show Award. It's not mine, but I have a Gong Show. Yeah, I have a Gong Show Award.
Who was that?
That was Doug.
Oh.
See, yeah. So yeah.
Oh, I've got to go look. I was looking through your Facebook pictures, and there again, I'm just like, oh my god.
And I have an uncle with a Nobel Prize.
Wow.
Yeah. Heinrich Boll. He won the Nobel for Literature.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow. We could speak for a week, and you wouldn't.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. You'd get bored. Trust me.
No.
Yeah, my spouse, I'll be telling a story. We'll walk in the room and go, oh, and leave. Will not listen if I talk about China. I used to be I toured China and
Right.
became an ambassador
Oh my god.
of arts and culture in China, off and on for 3 years. And so sick of the stories that won't even listen to me talk about it anymore.
I think
I was kidnapped in China.
You were kidding. Wait a minute. Okay, now you got to tell this one.
I was on my way from. I was in the Hefei province and on my way to Liuchun, and passing through Jinan. And Jinan decided that if Liuchun, which was smaller, was receiving American performers, so would Jinan. So my train stopped in Jinan, and someone stuck their head in my cabin and said, "This is your stop." And fool that I am, went, "Okay, fine." Grabbed my bag and got off the train with two other people, May Keller and Kathy Gibbs. And we realized something was wrong right away because there wasn't the fanfare, there wasn't anyone to meet us, there were no officials, and they whisked us away to a guest house. And I found out later they sent a message on ahead to our team and said, "We have 3 of your members." And we were, headliners of sorts. Everyone's a headliner at some point in some part of the show. But they said, "Bring back your cast for a show here." So it happened to be our one night off. We did 2 shows for 5,000 each. 5,000 people, brought them in, got them out, 5,000 more in and out.
Right.
And we did a show that night. I got a lot of attention because I was the only trunk they brought back with costumes. So I was the only one doing costume changes in the show. I got standing ovations, not because I was talented, but because I was changing my clothes.
Oh my gosh.
So, and that night they said they wanted to hold us over for another show, but
Right.
we had to perform the next night. So we all snuck out. They snuck us out in groups, in little groups of 2 and 3, out to a bus that was hidden around a corner. We all loaded into a bus that drove down the side streets in the dark, no lights. An official stopped us, climbed on board, with a flashlight, shined it at all of us on the bus, and talked to the driver. And the driver gave him a pack of cigarettes, and he got off and let us go. And I went, my entire value has been now a pack of cigarettes. And we got to the train station and realized there was no way, Stetson boots, I was going to walk through a crowd.
Yeah.
And we had one girl with her blonde hair down to her past her buttocks, and there was no way we were going to sneak through. So they took us down the train tracks to board the train. I was the last with the producer and director to walk down the tracks, and I was singing Edelweiss in Mandarin. Thank you for getting that. I felt like the family Von Trapp sneaking over into Switzerland from Austria. And we got on the train, got to our location, and they'd been holding a meal for us because there was supposed to be a big banquet, and that's where I was one of the honorees there.
Right.
And they served me, and now I didn't drink at all in my life, at all, until that point. And they served me a glass of something called ouzo, which you know is like 175 proof. And I saw my director and producer going, no. Usually they told everyone I don't drink.
Yeah.
But they somehow, in the hustle of everything else, they forgot. So I just saw them and I went, never mind. And I'd seen the ceremony a million times, took the glass, tapped it on the table twice, gombe to my host, because this is the tribute, and you have to down it. I still have no hair on my chest. I finished a plate of deep-fried scorpion and was asleep.
Oh!
Yeah. The scorpion was good. It was very good.
Did it taste like chicken?
It tasted like peanuts.
Oh!
Yeah, I kept eating them, and I still have no idea who undressed me and put me to bed.
Now, when's that movie coming
Yeah,
out?
I know. Actually, there is a movie. There is a movie of the trip called By Way of the Rainbow, the Rainbow Tour.
Oh, and that's...
Yeah, you'd have to hunt for it.
But that's what it's based on.
Yeah, it's the documentary. No, it's us.
Oh.
We're in it.
Oh!
It's a documentary of the trip.
Oh, well, now I have to see
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll see me singing and dancing and
Okay.
my early life.
Oh my gosh. I love this. Magic Castle. You're
Yeah.
connected to the Magic Castle.
Yes, I handled the Magic Castle itself for many years.
Okay.
Now I handle Magic Castle Inc., which is the production company that puts on shows and movies and other things that deal with magic and illusion. Milt Larson,
Right.
who is the godfather of all magic today, as far as I'm at this time. He was born in a trunk, literally a magic trunk, to a magic family. And the Magic Castle is just one of the most, forgive the word, magical places to be at.
It really is. Has anybody gone to the Magic Castle? Been there? Isn't it? Yes, it's amazing.
It's amazing to watch I will see someone doing something this close to me and not know how and I don't want to know. I really don't want to know how they do it. But I've been there with several of my clients. Florence Henderson, we were doing something and she was they put coins on the back of her hands, and he waved his hand over it, and they were gone, and they were on her elbow.
Oh my gosh!
And you're right there. You have no idea how that happened. You know, there are times we've done shows at the White House where, unfortunately, I was made privy to the how it was done, and I really wish I hadn't. One of my favorite. There's a very famous magician. He performed at the White House, and he has this wonderful, wonderful act where he saws someone in two, and I've never been able to figure out how he does it, and then I saw him putting it together and saw how it was done. It just destroyed me. I don't want to know. And costume changes. Have you ever seen quick changes? Those people who do quick, go from a mini dress to a wedding gown just by dropping tinsel over their head?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
It is like, what?
Uh-huh. Oh, the costume changes were that fast, really. But it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I did a show once where I wish I'd known how they did that, because I did a show once where I played several characters. It was called The Two of Us. Michael Frayn, who also wrote Noises Off and other shows.
Right.
It's called The Two of Us, and I played myself, my best friend, my son, and my wife. Played my wife, my ex-wife, my daughter, and my ex-wife's new boyfriend. Yeah. Costume changes like this. Yeah, costume changes
Talk
like
about
this.
Sybil.
Yeah. So yeah, you had I went from a fat suit to Stephen, who was thin. Barney was fat. Stephen was thin. Stephen was well groomed. Barney was a mess. My son was a hip hop, and you had to change characters and change personalities and change costumes that fast, and we came up with some tricks to make it work. But wow, it was Variety called it too much praise cannot be lavished. You remember the reviews. Too much praise cannot be lavished on Harlan Boll. It was he called it the the proverbial Chinese fire drill. So yeah.
Oh my, yeah.
So that was a long time ago, though.
That's fun.
I was younger and I could move quicker.
Right? Oh my gosh. We have to like break those barriers. I wrote down the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
I wrote down the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, which you mentioned, and I also the National Association to Protect Children.
Okay. I'm an advisor to the Smithsonian. I've dealt with bringing a lot of items into the Smithsonian. Dolly's dress and Mame's dressing gown and the bugle and from Mame, and Phyllis Diller and June Lockhart, who won the very first Tony. That Tony's in the Smithsonian. A number of others, and I've done several events in Washington, D.C. at the Smithsonian and the White House. My mother and I have this ongoing joke, where the heck in the world is my son?
Oh my gosh.
She'll call, where are you, London? Where are you, Vienna? Where are you, Paris? Where are you, New York? And the best one is, where are you? I'm in D.C. Were you at the White House? Yeah, how'd you know? She said, you're on the news.
Oh my God.
By the way, tell your mother when you're having dinner at the White House.
So I can join you?
Yeah. Well, she said, your father and I had dinner, sat down, turned on the news, and I went, is that our son with Obama?
Oh.
I was like, yeah, she could really tell us.
Yeah.
So I work with the Smithsonian a lot. If you ever head out that way, please visit the Smithsonian. Its history is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's an amazing place.
The next one's the Academy. Yes, I work with the Academy, have for years. And National Association to Protect Children. My big causes are usually child and or animal related. Anything having to do with education. The National Association to Protect Children was a long time in the making. It's an advocacy group to speak out on behalf of children who don't, because they don't vote, they often don't get the attention from Congress. And there are, and I'm trying not to go into the details. There were 30,000 reported cases of abused kids from 85 to 90 that went unchecked. And those were reported. How many didn't we know about? Sadly, children are the biggest victim in this new world of modern technology because they are abused on camera and people pay to watch it. It is a disgusting, and I could give you stats that would just terrify you. In fact, Allison Arngrim from Little House on the Prairie, she plays Nellie Olson.
Yeah.
She's my faux sister. She calls me her brother, I call her my sister. She calls my parents mom and dad, and she is one of the spokeswomen for that organization because she's been through a lot herself as a victim as a child. And appeared before Congress and has done lots of things. And she will go through the material sent to me and block out certain passages so I don't have to read it because I will have nightmares.
Wow.
She protects me as much as the others, but it's just the saddest commentary on, again, you were saying, I can't believe I'm part of the human race when you read that people do this.
Yeah.
And now there's new wonderful projects now where we're bringing in veterans who can't work for one reason or another or want to work, but they are being trained on computers to help the police now that we have the laws have changed. We can find someone through the help with computers now. We can find someone who's actually abusing a child online and get to the house while it's happening, as opposed to used to be you couldn't get there in time to protect the child. Now we can get there, and we use these veterans who are well trained. One of our veterans, I love him dearly. He made a comment once in an interview with CNN. He said, "You do not want to see me at your front door." Because if you're doing something to a child and he's at your front door, you pretty much are going to the hospital.
Yeah.
So we are making great strides, but it's a long way to go. And children are just receiving the worst of it. Our justice system is not set up to protect kids or animals. They have no voices whatsoever. So people like Allison and Tippi Hedren, and there's a host of others, Joanne Worley, Loretta Swit, Betty White, a number of others that I work with who are very out there, Stephanie Powers, host of others that are out there seriously putting themselves on the front lines to protect the kids and the animals. So
Well, it's It's amazing where, I mean, to see somebody, there's so many people out there these days that you go, what? As we can see on TV every day lately. Where I won't go for the presidential race right now. But you really come from the heart. You connect yourself with a family that seems to come from the heart.
No, I'm very, very blessed in this. I'm not without disasters. I've lost some wonderful. I lost relationships and people who've been killed and in front of me, and from lost to disease, relationships. But so it hasn't been all joyous. But I've been very blessed in this industry, and the industry has pretty much adopted me. They've been very, very kind to me. And I was lucky. I was raised in a family that was so supportive. I didn't realize how lucky I was growing up. You know, I grew up in a Quaker family, and I thought, oh, they're so strict. But I was very, very lucky. They loved me dearly, and my siblings, and we all get along. And this world, coming to LA was a culture shock, bigger than going to China. I mean, coming to LA, it took me a long time to get used to this idea that not everyone talked to their mother all the time. Not everyone communicated. I had a friend of mine who told me he thought Mommy Dearest was a comedy. What's the big deal? My mother did that every day. It was like, oh, really?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's amazing. My parents now, 55 years later, are still holding hands, walking around. Of course, now with her hips and his knees, they need to.
Yeah.
But it's still, you know, they're still very much in love, and it never occurred to me you don't get into a relationship forever.
Right.
You know, it never occurred to me that there are. I have friends who. What's the old joke for one child star to another child star? It says, "This is my new dad." The other child star says, "Oh, you'll love him. We had him last week." You know, relationships are given up so easily out here. So there are exceptions. You know, there's the Eileen Graff and Ben Lazzaroni and others who have been together forever.
Right.
So they do exist in this industry. So there is proof that they do.
Yeah.
They're just very hard to come by, and it take a lot of work. So.
Yeah. Question.
Answer.
What do you want the most at this moment in your life?
A Pulitzer. No. I'd love to write something that gets a lot of attention and makes a difference in life. That I would love. I would love to. I'm working on 2 new books. One's my first attempt at comedy, and then I would like to write something that makes a difference, that would stand the test of time, that would be in classrooms forever, and everyone would be. That would be, to me, the ultimate. It's funny you asked the question. My mind went to all those beauty pageants. Peace in the world. But no, I would love to contribute something that makes people think.
Yeah.
And changes the course of how we view things. That would be the ultimate thing.
Well, I have to say, you being here, and not just here, but you being here is a blessing.
Oh,
so
thank you.
Thank you. I wanted to read, to wrap this up too, I wanted to read a couple of quotes, testimonials. Which well, we'll find out, won't we? Which I thought were brilliant. I just read them and I got emotional. But my elegant and brilliant, dear, dear friend, I can't remember when Harlan wasn't there, and often with little notice. He has survived several tours, 2 husbands, and 1 memoir. I seek his wise counsel on just about everything and can't imagine what I would do without his guidance. Carol Channing. Yeah. Beautiful. And then I have one more I wanted to read. I was the recipient of a unique gift from my daughter, Melanie Griffith. It was wrapped very elegantly in a smart man suit. That gift, the friend of Harlan Boll, a publicist, has lasted over 20 years. Harlan is the pinnacle of patience and understanding, the elegance of Clark Gable. He has the capability of charming every single person in the world. Harlan Boll knows how it all works. He knows how people work and who they are. He's loyal, honest, and I will always love admire and trust this man. People who know Harlan trust him for good reason. He knows the business of publicity. Tippi Hedren.
Tippy.
So, Harlan Boll, everyone. We're gonna get.
I like this. No, they can keep going.
Oh, okay, keep going.